these bolts out. That's the first time I've had them out since I bought the machine this year. So we'll have a little look. We got to knock that wedge coupler out. Some power. These guys gonna put these wedges so incredibly tight. All right. So as you can tell, I just picked up another bucket for this thing, and just as luck would have it, I had that 30-inch GP bucket, that digging bucket, and I've been doing some ditching. Actually, I've been doing quite a bit of ditching lately, and working for the municipality. So, and I've wanted a ditching bucket anyway. Each one of my machines, my U25, I've got a 30-inch ditching bucket for it over there. I've also got an 18-inch trenching bucket, because you have to have different width buckets for these machines. It's just a must. Why cut a trench 30 inches wide or 24 inches wide when you're only laying, you know, something 2 to 4 inches in diameter? So that's why my machines, I got 12-inch trenching buckets for them. And I've got 18 and 24-inch general purpose bucket, 30-inch smooth for the U25 Super Series in there. So I bought this machine with this general purpose 30-inch right there for that 57. Just a general purpose bucket, and that's what I'm using for ditching. But then I come onto this bad boy here, right there. H&H, they got all the contract for Kubota Canada, right there. H&H gets all the contract work for Kubota's bucket. This bucket here is brand new, unused. And this bucket here was bought last year for a guy. He bought it in the kit. He bought a U55 zero tail swing machine. And the dealer also set him up with this bucket that he didn't need. He didn't know much about machines, this guy. And in fact, he wasn't even an operator. He was a guy that had a lot of money. And I went to his house yesterday, and he had several pieces of Kubota equipment brand new. He said, I got a brand new bucket unused. He said, it's just sitting in the weeds. I seen it on the internet. And he said, I bought a brand new U55 zero tail swing machine last year and some buckets. And this bucket came with it. And he didn't need this bucket. And I needed it, because I've been looking for a 57 bucket. Finishing bucket, ditching bucket. Well, this is a ditching bucket, and it came with the kit of everything he bought. And he told me paid almost $5 grand for this bucket, and it would not surprise me at all. Would not surprise me. It's got the bolt-on cutting edge, and it's an H&H. And I said it wouldn't surprise me. This guy paid almost $5 grand for this bucket. And you can see it was sitting in a bit of water there too. Those bolts are a bit rusty, and it was sitting in the weeds, and he pulled it out. And I thought, sweet. So anyway, I'll be putting this bucket to use tomorrow. Actually, I've been doing some ditching, and it just fell hand in hand. You can ditch with a general purpose bucket. You can ditch with a tooth bucket, but you're using the heel of a bucket a lot. You're doing a lot of your back ditch smearing up the banks. If you're not cleaning them, you're smearing them anyway to smooth them out. And it's just it just doesn't quite give you a nice clean grade as a nice smooth edge ditching, but you can though. Once you get used to how to feathering the general purpose bucket in and covering up any track marks you leave from your teeth and back grading and smearing it all in, you can make a nice smooth edge with a general purpose bucket too. But again, every swipe you take, you're only taking 30 inches with that GP bucket. Well, this is 48. So every swipe I take now with this smooth cutting edge and the bucket overall, well, I'm taking 48 inches of material out. I'm doing the same motions, But instead of taking 30 inches of material out, I'm taking 48 out, which makes a big difference, you know, for efficiency and everything else. And it's always nice to have a finishing / ditching smooth grade bucket for doing other work on different jobs. It doesn't really matter. So anyway, that's the advantage of having a nice smooth bucket. And I'm going to hitch it up because actually tomorrow morning it's going to work. I got to start again, and I've got a lot of feet of ditching to do, you know, and so I got to get this thing going and get it together. But I'm really happy that I found it, and it just worked hand in hand. 6 hours. I went to the ad and I seen, holy shit, this guy's got a 57 bucket for sale, and it was only on there 6 hours, and he told me the price. Well, I'll tell you what I paid for this bucket. $2,750 for this bucket. I paid $2,750 for this bucket. $2,750 cash, no HST. So when you look at it overall, people go, holy shit, those buckets are expensive. They are. Especially good quality right there. If you look at it too, made in Canada, H&H bucket, and $2,750. And I know I saved quite a bit of money by buying the bucket off this guy. And you know what? You got to pounce, and you got to have the money ready when those ads come up, and you just have to go in for it. And you can't, as soon as you think about humming and hawing, the next guy's got it snapped up. Go to a Kubota dealer, price it, 48-inch ditching bucket, H&H, see what it costs new. And I'll tell you, I paid $27.50 for this thing, and no tax. So I thought, good deal. And it was a pretty good deal. So, and what I'm doing right here, see these areas? I'm just wiping them down with Thrust, with penetrating oil, cleaning all the old grease off. And then I look at the wearing surfaces where your bucket actually clips in here, just to see whether you can see the saddle here. A little, very little, almost nothing on here. There's almost nowhere. Just clean it up. And I always just make sure where that bucket saddle sits in there on top of this pin, that you can see where they sit. There's virtually nothing there. The machine's only got 665 hours on it right now. And I've really only been seriously working this machine hard. Well, not hard, but steady the last, you know, couple weeks. And that's all I'm doing. Just inspecting, having a little look, cleaning up. And that's where I am. Okay. This bucket, wow, I wouldn't have known that. This bucket here, 2019, same year as the machine, 2019 bucket. 2019, again, H&H bucket. And if you look at it, all H&H are stamped and coded. You know exactly what you get, and you know the year of manufacture. If you look here, 2019 bucket right there, 425 pounds. I would not have believed that. I just wouldn't have believed it. And it tells you right there on the model number, it'll tell you right in there, KX 057, 30 for 30-inch HD heavy duty bucket. And that's really all that, I'm assuming HD stands for heavy duty, whatever. So 425 pounds. Now, let's look at this 48. I'm kind of surprised. It's almost unbelievable, everybody. Look, you can't hardly see it. 382 pounds. 382 pounds. I don't know if you guys can see. I can barely see it. 382. It's a June of 2022 bucket. 48-inch DC, which I would assume would be ditching right there. So 382 and 425 pounds on the 30. But if you look at the wall thickness on the, you look at the wall thickness on the 30, and then you look at the wall thickness back here on the ditching, it's a lot lighter on the wall thickness on the ditching, and maybe even a lot lighter on the back of the bucket on the heel and everything. Also, you'll notice the profile on the ditching bucket. The heel just gently sweeps around on that, and that will make for back work on the back of the bucket nice for smearing in an embankment or anything like that. It's a whole lot less abrupt than the other bucket, almost like a ski. And you can gently just smear in your back of your ditches and stuff, and the bottoms of your ditches nicely. As we're look here, you really have to be You have to be more in control of your machine on a general purpose bucket. With the angle of the back of that GP bucket there, it's a severe angle on the back of that, and you really have to feather your controls when you're smearing in on this. It's just it'll tend to plunge a little bit more for you on this. You just have to get the feel of the bucket, and it doesn't take that long actually when you're doing it. But that's the difference between a GP bucket and a ditching bucket. A whole lot less heavy contouring on the back of the bucket on that, but I just thought I'd show you that. Okay, I will clean on this, inspect it. I'm going to clean everything up and I'll get back to you. Alright, you can see where the bucket ears wrap around. They basically snap right into the shaft right here for your bucket. Right on your thumb shoulder here, on your through shaft. These ears clip right on there. And all you do is you grab your wedge, you put your wedge on, and your wedge goes right through there. Just do exactly what it is. You put your 2 bolts in there, and the tighter you tighten that wedge, the more pressure it puts on your bucket ear, and the tighter it clamps your bucket ear to the actual coupler. And that's all there is to putting those on. But you know what? I want to put a little something right on here. I want to put some lubricant on there. This is what I got handy, so that's what goes in there. We're going to put a little anti-seize on these bolts too. I don't know if these bolts have ever been, they have been anti-seized. I shouldn't say I don't know, they have been, but oh shit. Substantial difference in the width of the machine, and apparently this bucket here is whatever it is, 40 pounds lighter than that great big 30-inch general purpose digging bucket over there. So obviously they make the ditching buckets a little bit lighter because maybe they're not prone to near the forces that a general purpose digging bucket is when it comes to, you know, concrete and rocks and boulders and everything else. Ditching bucket generally, I'm assuming, doesn't get pounded nearly as hard, but up here there's rocks everywhere. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys that ditching bucket I just picked up yesterday, just brought it home. And another beauty of this is it's got the bolt-on cutting edge. So once this cutting edge here gets worn, you just take that off. It saves your factory framework on your bucket from wear and tear, and you don't affect your factory frame of your bucket. You just change your cutting edge. When it wears out, you change it. And my little U25 in the shop there, it doesn't have a bolt-on cutting edge. It has the holes, and that's another thing I should do. I should order a bolt-on cutting edge for my U25 in there too. And I've been talking about this bucket ready to go for tomorrow, and we will go. I'll shoot some ditching video too, just to show you this bucket in action. And all right, good morning everybody. Mike here, Northeastern Dirt and Property Maintenance. I'm on this back road, and I'm on this continuing on this ditching job, and you can see these ditches. Have a look. Well, there's your ditch. They haven't been touched for a long time. And there I've opened them all up. If you look down here, I've opened them up, and the water's flowing nicely. So that's what we're working on today. So I got that ditching bucket, of course, which works nice. The water flows out of the back of the bucket, out of the drain holes. But you know what? It's been raining up here for a couple days, but I got to work right through it because I'll get too far behind. And like I said, as soon as the snow hits the ground up here, my equipment goes away. That's it for me, and I get ready to run snowplow. So I don't want to get too far behind here. I'm doing this, plus I'm dropping off bins and doing a few odd jobs still for residential customers up here. And I got a couple jobs lined up too, so I have to hop around from job to job. And that's just the way it goes. And even on these back roads, sometimes these guys don't slow down. There's a couple drivers here who just continuously, they'll fly right by the truck and the machine swinging and everything. So you have to kind of be careful while you're working here. And I don't have zero tail swing on this machine, so I have to kind of look up and down the roads when I'm pulling out to work on the other side. Even though we're in the middle of nowhere on these back roads, and it's up and down through valleys and ravines, you have to be careful. Most people are good though. So when you look here, to clean these ditches out, cut these ditches new and fresh, basically, I need to take out at least half this road with my machine, because I can't get up in there and get in there tight enough to cut a reasonable ditch when I'm right up tight on top of that ditch with the machine. You got to step back so you can contour that stick. And this is what you have to watch out for right here. As traffic comes through here, I got to watch the ass end of that machine swinging and everything else. So you got to be kind of careful. Not kinda, you have to be careful. As you guys can tell, That hoist was maxed out right there, maxed with that wet material. With a load on there like that, that hoist was maxed. That's why I had to jib it back first, then tip it and dump a partial load, jib it forward, and then dump the whole load. And you're never really stuck being overloaded that way when you can jib backward and dump part of your load first. Alright, so after ditching along here in the ditch, since I'm by myself, a one-man show, I ditch all the way to the back of the truck. Then I gotta move the truck, run it down the hill 30, 40 feet, whatever, and then I gotta reset. And continuous process. Not exactly exciting, but it pays the bills, and that's how it is. Okay, you guys, thanks for tuning in. And it's starting to rain a little bit here, but have a look at our Northeast Ontario colors. The leaves have blown pretty much off the trees, a lot of them. Okay, it doesn't get much nicer than to work outside in weather like this by yourself and just do your job. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you later. Bye.